online as well. I hope you've had a wonderful, wonderful afternoon. And let's see here. Yes, I think we're all situated. We got everything in place? I think we do. Well, here we go. Tonight we are coming to I'll come down here so we're in line of the camera and the online friends. We are welcome tonight to our final second night of all the whiteboarding. I took all of your discussions and I got them all written down into a paper format with a little more interesting info you might find of interest as well. I anticipate last week the time just flew by, so I would anticipate that tonight we will probably come out with some more ideas, and then we can spend some time prioritizing what things we would like to prioritize, maybe hash out some details, and then that will wrap up this evening, and we'll be ready to roll this summer. So anyway, looking forward to that. Let's go ahead and start tonight with some favorites, shall we? Who would like to start with the first favorite that we will do this evening? Who has a favorite? Mr. It is well with my soul. And I wonder also if it's possible, Victor, if you could stick it up on the back screen, that would be awesome as well. It is well with my soul, 417. Song we'd like to do. The next and final song we'll do this evening, Brother George. Because he lives, I can face tomorrow. That one is number, wait just for a second for it to pop up. Oh, we have no number for that one. I assume we might need a number for that one, Miss Sophie, is that correct? Oh, you may know it.
Okay.
So it's God sent his son, they called him Jesus. Don't know that one? You know one? You do. Look at that. Just like that. God step out of frame here while the men gather into place for our special music for this evening. And yes, it is on the list to revamp and get our special music rolling again. Why don't we all stand together and we'll do our special verse of the month, and we'll do that together while everyone's getting together and getting in their places. The verse is right here from Psalm 89:14, and we'll all do this together this evening. Psalm 89:14. Justice and judgment are the habitation of thy throne. Mercy and truth shall go before thy face. One more time. Justice and judgment are the habitation of thy throne. Mercy and truth shall go before thy face. Psalm 89:14. And you may have a seat.
You ask me why I'm happy, so I'll just tell you why. Because my sins are gone. And when I meet the scoffers who ask me where they are, I say, my sins are gone. They're underneath the blood on the cross of Calvary, as far removed as darkness is from dawn. In the sea of God's forgiveness, that's good enough for me. Praise God, my sins are gone. 'Twas at the old-time altar where God came in my heart, and now my sins are gone. The Lord took full possession, the devil did depart. I'm glad my sins are gone. They're underneath the blood on the cross of Calvary, as far removed as darkness is from dawn. In the sea of God's forgetfulness, that's good enough for me. Praise God, my sins are gone. When Satan comes to tempt me and tries to make me doubt, I say, my sins are gone. You got me into trouble, but Jesus got me out. I'm glad my sins are gone. They're underneath the blood on the cross of Calvary, as far removed as darkness is from dawn. In the sea of God's forgetfulness, that's good enough for me. Praise God, my sins are gone. I'm living now for Jesus. I'm happy day and night, because my sins are gone. My soul is filled with music. With all my heart I say, I know my sins are gone. They're underneath the blood on the cross of Calvary, as far removed as darkness is from dawn. In the sea of God's forgetfulness, that's good enough for me. Praise God, my sins are gone. In the sea of God's forgetfulness, that's good enough for me. Praise God, my sins are gone.
Amen. All righty. Well, we're going to jump right into this evening's final evening of the whiteboarding tonight. Let's see. So I got this all set up here. I wonder if Eric, I wonder if you can grab off of my printer in my office, and I actually think it's locked, but if you grab off my printer just a stack of papers, that would be amazing. I sent it to the printer and then headed over this way. I'll take one of those microphones, or maybe two of those microphones actually. Maybe one and two. How about that?
Yeah.
I'll take one and two. To those of you who are online and you say, boy, I couldn't really hear much of anything let's see, I'll stick it right about here. those of you who are online and said, boy, I really couldn't hear much of anything last week, I do apologize. I knew it was going to be a little challenging to coordinate it and make it fit for both online and in person, so I didn't pass the mic around a lot in the goals of getting conversation to be a little more fluid and a little more quick. Howbeit, I will see if I can't have a microphone, at least in the middle, and do a little bit of passing around so everyone can hear and be a little more engaged on the online team. Okay, so while we jump in tonight, I'm gonna favor in person here, so I'm gonna wander out of screen a little bit. I am sorry for that. So last week was amazing. I got Mr. Eric's. There we go. I'll wait just a second. We'll get these passed out. You know, if it's two,
Let's pass them out.
yeah, that's fine. Pass them out. It's fine. So 2 pages each. We'll go ahead and kind of scan through these. I can take half the stack for you here. There we go. Mr. Neil. A little bit too close. Miss Diane. Miss Jan. There we go. And you, dear friends, lost you guys last week due to the health items, so glad you're here tonight. There's the next one. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. And Eric, you are Speedy Gonzalez. Thank you, good sir. Tell you what, I'll let you keep them there for those who are popping in the back and want one. I'm going to get ahead of myself here and I'll just say thank you for last week. That was so fun. And I want to also express how rare something like this is. It is very, very possible, very likely, and very often that a church couldn't really get together and have an all-church discussion of what we should plan and what we can consider doing as a church family, because you would have things such as ideas that didn't align with the mission, or maybe someone has an idea that we don't get to action on, and people are offended and bothered that we weren't able to action on that. And I just want to express and remind that this is really cool that we get to do this together, that the spirit is such, and the time of Tabernacle's church stage and ministry is right that we can do this. So anyway, really, really cool that we can do this together. You saw I wrote here, thank you for the input and investment into eternity onto these matters. And you see here a little back explanation. Good grief. Little back illustration. I wanted how to begin last week very open-ended, hence us beginning the discussion in a completely open-ended format. And I debated on this, and I decided to be completely open last week. Open-ended, no format, no layout. Now that we've had some great discussion, I want to give 2 additional elements that you might find interesting. In an effort that we weren't just going in every direction, everywhere. This goes back 3 years ago at this point when Susanna was here, and we had her going full speed on projects around here. We thought and pondered and thought, and kind of divided Tabernacle's ministry areas into 8 teams roughly, if you will say. Got the outreach team, that's self-explanatory. Hospitality doesn't exist. That didn't come up last week, but I've thought that tonight it would be really good to discuss a hospitality team, such as somebody who can help with, hey, so-and-so hasn't been here in a long time, and maybe that team could send some letters out and maybe send me an update such as, hey, we contacted these 10 people, wanted to let you know instead of everything coming from me down, correct? Hospitality team would also be some folks who could greet folks as they come in and folks as they leave, and catching that person that's off in the corner that no one's talking to them and going and welcoming them and asking if they need anything. So hospitality team is something very critical for a church. Doesn't exist, but this is possibly a time to launch it. Youth team, we spoke about that last night extensively. Music team, that's self-explanatory. Media team, self-explanatory, that's anything tech-related. Missions team doesn't really exist, but I would love to speak further about this. This is something that doesn't immediately result in the growth of Tabernacle necessarily, but it would be coordinating and keeping in touch with our missionaries and being a blessing to them a little bit more, which I think would be a good thing to at some point consider. Then you got facilities, setup, tear down, maintenance, construction projects, etc. and then all the various groups. So anyway, I after we had our open-ended discussion last week, if any of these things jog your minds on, hey, we should do X, Y, or Z, or hey, this would be a fun thing to consider as well, maybe this will be something that can jog your mind in some of these categories. And then secondly, don't let any of this stuff discourage you. You know, many of the things that we don't currently do are because of personnel issues. And we probably could do more for a while if I decided to drive harder and double and triple book everybody in various ministry areas. But I am not interested in that as much as I am making sure that we are fulfilled in ministry and not burning out. I really want people to enjoy the ministry areas. So don't let it discourage you. Oh man, we don't have personnel for this. Who's going to teach this class? Yeah, we don't have kids Sunday school at 9:30. Man, I just wish we had more people. No, don't worry. It's a journey. How many churches do this kind of a planning meeting? That's the joy of it. But it's also the downside of it is we're going to talk in real time all the holes and all the areas that could be filled. Don't let that bother you. It's a joy to get to do this and plan it together. You see at the bottom of the line there, I wrote that I'm striving to steward your precious ministry time, flip the page, and point out that each one of us wants the perfect combination to be effective. You want to make a difference in what you do. Nobody wants to work in some service area feeling that they're making no difference whether they do it or they don't. That's a real disappointing area to be serving in. And also a sustainable level of ministry. And I got a couple quotes here, both authors you will probably recognize. Pastor Paul Chappell always said that only a leader can sustain a vision. And I thought, man, that is a challenging quote. How many of us, and I'm included too in this, how many of us we get started with excitement, and after a while it's like, you try, why, that doesn't make a difference whether I do or I don't. Well, remember, only a leader can sustain a vision. And then Dan Miller, who used to be a member of Tabernacle years ago. He was my room leader and dorm supervisor, or dorm RA, depending on what terminology the Bible College uses, at West Coast Baptist College. And he told me something that has never left me. He says, I've realized over time that ministry is often setting up and taking down folding chairs. And you know, that was so helpful to me because I think every one of us wants to be part of something grand and magnificent and part of a big giant team where everything just fits together perfectly. But ministry is a lot of grinding coffee beans and making coffee. Finding somebody that you say, you should be in church. Why do you keep wandering away? I call them again. Hey, when you know I'm praying for you, thinking about you. And sometimes you think, does this matter? Does it make a difference? Yes, it does. Yes, it does make a difference. Ministry is often setting up and taking down folding chairs. And of course, that's figuratively speaking. He was saying it literally, but indeed. Victor and I fixed the carpets. You may not have seen it. We got the carpet squares in the back room. But that was Ace Hardware, buying razors to scrape the floor clean, painting paint on the floor, putting carpet squares down, and that was our ministry that day. Ken came by and we talked about a whole bunch of stuff around here and changed banners, and what a blessing. Is it high and mighty and lofty and glorious and fancy and all that stuff? No, it's not, but I tell you what, it's great. So anyway, wanted to say that don't walk away from a meeting like this saying, we just don't have enough people to get it all done. No, that's the joy of it. That's the joy of the process of getting to be part of it at the ground level. Now, we had discussed last week about the media team, getting some folks who can help with the streaming setup, relaunching the sound teams and the music slide operators teams. Talked about the teams helping out with some of the photography of some of the various events and using that photography for the updates and social media posts. Communication was discussed a lot about revamping that, having them on Google Calendar, also adding them to the website, having them in a shareable format that you guys can share, whether it's on a social media or just send a picture of a flyer on your phone. Getting personal invite cards that you can handle in your hands to invite to friends. That was discussed in the media department. Outreach and facilities. We talked about reordering the faded signs on the fence. I will do that literally tomorrow or the next day. I'll get those things on order. So we'll get those signs new. I'm going to put on there the time time for church. Anything else that should belong on those big giant cloth signs on the fence? Church website, yeah, put that on there. You know, I think that is on there, but maybe make it bigger, huh? If you're asking about it, it means it's probably not big enough, so. Okay, so church website, church times, get those added to that sign. Any other things that should be on those signs? I think that should be good there. I put partway down. You guys had, this would be second bullet point under outreach and facilities. We had talked about last week about putting a sign at the corner of Concord Boulevard and Deckinger Road. And you see I wrote about having doubts about getting it built and installed due to the proximity of the water canal. Now I hope I'm not going too fast, so just I want to get back to all of our discussion, not just me talking. But talking about the corner over on this corner over here, right. Deckinger Road and Concord Boulevard, it would be ideal right on that corner. There we go, right on that corner there to get a giant sign that's on the corner. I think the water district owns a lot of that. I don't know if they will get us a leave for that. But we could possibly do it. You know, there's a parking lot there, right? And there's a grassy area. What do you think if we maybe looked into doing it on the corner in that grass? Would that be a visible possibility?
You know, we were driving by last night, and when you drive through that corner, it's like really dark. But the top corner of that building, like right on the top of the building, where the building makes a corner right there, okay. Emerald had the idea
of putting it up there.
The sign was right there on the very corner on the building.
On the roof.
There, on the roof.
That's a brilliant idea.
Right on that corner. And then it would be super easy to get electrical power there.
That would be ultra easy, wouldn't it?
And it would be very visible from the traffic coming this way. Like everybody would just see it. Like it would just be like right there. Like if it was lit, backlit, it would be very noticeable, and I think it'd be impactful. I don't know. I don't think the traffic this way would see it, but I don't like driving this way on Concord Boulevard. I don't know how you could make the sign visible without putting it actually on
that corner, huh? And I'm not giving up hope that we can do it on the corner eventually. I just have a feeling. There's 2 trees there too. There are 2 trees there too, huh?
Trees back.
Right. Should we look into doing it?
Well, the thing is,
Well, that makes sense, putting it on the roof right there,
you're
huh?
still gonna have to go through the school. You still got a school to deal with.
I know they wouldn't mind that, because just in communication, I know that wouldn't be a
Putting it on
problem.
top of the building.
Right in the corner, yeah, they wouldn't mind that.
Because again, the waterworks goes 30 to 60 feet.
30 to 60 back.
Yes. So the trees that they have there in the corner, you know how they have the trees right here where they set up the trees right there?
Right.
It would be like if you wanted to put it there, because obviously the water place didn't tell them to take down the trees.
Right.
But if we were to tell the school, since it's our property, if we want to remove the trees, put a sign there, and then again, it's running the electricity out there.
Right. Okay.
Type of thing.
Now, I gotta ask you, put on your thinking hats now. So I'm going through and building out the budget for this year.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask.
Right. And this also comes to, the other thing was mentioned, and I thought it was a brilliant idea as well, is this peak right here faces Deckinger Road. And if we updated that face there and put a nice softly backlit Tabernacle Baptist Church with a website and times, service times there, probably updated the cross, I would imagine. Electrical's also right there. That would be really easy, but here's the question.
You can't see it from Concord Boulevard. Your dad was right, because I brought that up last time.
I wonder if both, though, in conjunction would.
Do both.
You're better off. You would be better off working the corner.
Doing the corner first.
Because Margaret and I drove by after that last time, and Tom was right. You really can't. This is so far off from Concord Boulevard.
It's just for the Deckinger traffic.
It's just not gonna. It's not.
So here's the question: if we were to pursue doing those things, I can't, and you'll see this when I give you the budget in hand. I can't exactly cash flow that through the budget. That would be something that would probably, I would assume, would be an all-church vote, where you would vote to utilize, take some savings money and put it towards that. Now, by God's grace, we have savings. I probably won't say the number because this is being preserved forever on YouTube, and I'm not sure if that should be out there on YouTube necessarily. But I can tell you in person, by God's grace, we have been being cautious. Savings has been rising. That would be an option, is to take savings. I think that would be the only way for those projects to happen.
I would think it may be wise in this new budget to put a line item for improvements, or whether it be advertising improvements, but general church improvements, and that way it could be like for new carpet one year, whatever. So that would be something if you could include that in the budget, and that would be used for projects like this.
In which, to an extent, we do actually have that. It's just the old saying, currently the special improvements projects is earmarked for the lobby, and the by faith offering was that the plan was that the by faith offering would go towards the lobby improvements. And then, like Victor was mentioning, you want to make sure that you're doing this with a purposeful method, that you're prioritizing, right, not just doing everything all at once. But hence me kind of seeing, tell you what, those are the thoughts. Let's continue discussion. You think about some of the priority thoughts, and we'll come back and we'll kind of make some priority marks on some of these items. Does that sound like a plan? I like the idea. I never thought of putting it on the top of the roof there.
Yeah, because then it's elevated and it's not that far back. It's like right where that parking lot is, and it's elevated, and you'll coming this direction on Concord Boulevard, you'll be able to see it for a good while. Like you see it, you'll be seeing it when you're sitting at the light.
Now, tell you what, I find when you just see a place where signage is changing, being updated, it catches your eye. I feel like anything gets stagnant over time, and I think just even updating, oh hey, new sign, what's going on there? Yeah,
I think like the church logo, the church website, very visible, and then we could like change banners, like upcoming events, and keep them current,
Yes.
for our harvest days and our Christmas musical and our family camping trip. I think if you had banners and you just kept them up to date, because you could buy banners and hang them, and then you could remove them, and then you could save, you have some banners that you could save and use them every year, for like harvest days and for Easter.
That's actually good you mentioned that, because Lancaster Baptist Church has some really classy signage, which is generally stone, no cement or stucco, something like that, with brushed aluminum lettering that's backlit very, very nicely. And it's a large, pretty, easy to read central sign with, church, times, things along that line. And then either side, they have a space for smaller banners. And those banners will always change. It was Korean church at this time, this event coming up here, this event coming up there, and that could give you the ability to change it, not have it be stagnant.
And then it catches people's eyes.
What's new?
They want to see what's. Oh wow, they're doing something else over there. Like,
right.
What's going on over
That church
there?
just keeps on doing stuff.
Yeah. Exactly.
We want to be that church. Okay. Hey, that's beautiful. Thank you. I love this. This is amazing. Now, I do want to get to more thoughts, because we literally just touched on a couple of topics. What came out of the youth stuff was 4th through 6th grade. You heard me mention it this morning. That is officially going to launch next Sunday. So during the church hour, the 4th through 6th graders will indeed be starting. So they'll have something their age, and Evie is going to be spearheading it, and she's so very excited about that. So that's happening. You see, I wrote in there, I will add a few more youth events for that age bracket, as well as for the teenagers. I'll add a few more events for that bracket as well, and then we'll pass that out for everyone for a schedule for the kids that they can look forward to over the summer. Now, we spoke about this extensively last week, and this is the last thing on this list here, and you can take it home and think about it. I mentioned it extensively last time. It sounds nice on paper to restart youth group on a Wednesday night or a Thursday night, something like that. But so many of our youth currently are, over on the Brentwood, that direction. I can certainly plan a group of teen events, and Jessica's actually already doing some things that are getting various teens together to have some fun together and enjoy time together. But what do you think about maybe doing a teen series, maybe a short 1-month series on a Sunday morning? And this would have to be something that Ken or Eric or Mike, or it have to be one of you guys to do it together, but do a short series in Sunday morning that would just get them together, kind of like a Sunday school group, except it would be at the Sunday hour, and something short, almost like a junior church thing, and like do a series, and that would be it. But it would include some food, some snacks, your Bible study time, probably a game time, possibly think about it, let me know. I know I just threw that out there. You could launch Sunday school teen group, but like we were talking, Eric, I don't think that's realistic for all the teens to make it here for Sunday school. And I put it in the notes here, you do have to be careful with teens, because or any group, because if you get 2 people in attendance, that's usually very awkward for those 2 kids that come, and it's usually hard for the teacher as well. So you need to make sure that whatever you launch, you don't launch haphazard, but you've got to have it so you have a critical mass of at least, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 kiddos there, young people there. Otherwise, it can be a little awkward. Think about it. I just throwing that out for ideas, right? Okay, and that brings us to a review from last week. Let's keep whiteboarding. What are some other thoughts, ideas, comments? What are you thinking? Give you all the various categories to think about. Yes, sir.
I think with all the children still here and the night service and things, a lot of times the ladies leave the auditorium.
Mm-hmm.
That's something along the lines of a screen in the nursery with the volume.
That was discussed, huh?
Yeah, I think that would be.
Okay, sorry, Mike, people that ran away with the microphone. But a monitoring system in the nursery, as long as it had a volume control, and then you could turn it down if it got too noisy. That'd be positive? Okay, excellent. I got that stuck up here. That would be excellent. Jan, you were thinking.
Well, I've been in the nursery a lot, and that sounds good, but you want your workers 100% on those little ones, because they're little, and that quick they can.
Get into something.
It would be
hurt
up
or something.
high. It would be like a monitor.
But you don't want to
You're
get the
saying
nursery
distractions, you're saying.
distracted.
Yeah, that sounds good.
But that's just my feelings. So.
Oh, that's good. That's good. I do think it would be critical that you have that volume, because I don't know how I assume it's that way in the nursery, at least it is around the house. When you get too much noise happening all at once, it's like turn down all the excess noise, stop with the noise, so you need to be able to crank that down in a heartbeat.
But what I wanted to ask a minute ago, how many teens do we have?
I added it up last week. So if all the teens were here, and they won't all be, but if you had all, you would have, let me think about that, 3, 6, 7, 8, 10, approximately 10. I know it is, and they're amazing teens too. They're amazing kiddos. Love them so very much. So yes. Other projects to dive into or thoughts? Yes.
I know I brought it up to you, but a by faith offering for a podium.
Update the podium. Let's see here. Get this. Do you know that there's actually a podium design, new podium? There's actually a podium, all kind of like designed, just waiting to be put together. Talked about it and drawn out plans.
So you just need a builder, or?
Just need a builder. I'm not familiar with the cabinet making world, or who you get to build something like that, or maybe that would be, I don't know.
Didn't you talk about that about a year ago?
Did. I did.
Maybe longer?
I thought this was the result of that.
So this was a step in the right direction, but this was not, for my stature, and I'm not the tallest of people, I couldn't work with that other one. It was just, I felt like a little kid behind it, so it didn't work for me. So this is progress, but I'd still like to get another one.
Get a step stool for you.
Customized to us. Get a step stool, yep. Isn't that the saying with Joe Montana and his wife? When they first met, they were doing some advertisement photo shoot, and she didn't need a step stool in the photos, and that's how they got talking, and then ended up being a husband and wife years later. I don't know if it's true or not. I remember hearing that story. Podium. What other things come to mind? Anything at all? I have some more further thoughts myself, but how would you enjoy, and do you think that folks would enjoy being a part of a hospitality? Good gracious. A hospitality, this is making me keep getting in a bad spot here. Getting a hospitality team relaunched. I keep thinking that would be really straightforward. It would really help if I had somebody to help me coordinate and build schedules, because I need someone to help me make schedules like that. But it seems like that would be a really easy way for a lot of people to be a part of serving. I don't know if everyone would take a month or take a couple of weeks, but you could have, say, a handful of folks say, hey, can you just greet in the morning as people come in and, dismiss just a couple moments before everybody else and greet on the way out. They would be folks that would help catching up with new faces that you don't recognize and say, hey, if you got any questions about the church, would you like to join? I feel like that would be potentially really fun.
We had hospitality before. How come did they not work, or did they just fall apart when COVID-19 came? Because we used to have people that would meet and greet.
You know what? That probably is just something that it's good time to restart again.
Maybe it just kind of...
And when we restarted after COVID, we were still, people were out there with the hand sanitizer and all that, and that ended up being a type of hospitality.
It did, didn't
Yeah,
it?
that was pretty
Yeah.
good at that time, yeah.
Okay. Think that would be a good timing for something along these lines? Thoughts on that? Maybe. Okay, I'll put that down here. Other thoughts here. Other thoughts here along these various categories or. I saw thinking. Yes.
Something else for the media group.
It's the media team.
Yeah, media team. We either need somebody or some few people that are aware of where the hearing stuff like George uses. We like this morning he had a problem and Sharon went and fixed it. But if there needs to be somebody that looks for the people that can't hear.
Let me ask a question, and feel free to tell me no, we're just brainstorming, right? Do you think it would be handy to take one of those little tables that's in the lobby, those little, yellow wooden ones, stick it right back here with just a little sign that just says assisted listening devices, and just have 3 of them laid out there?
Well, they might walk off.
They might.
Although you wouldn't think
They're
so,
about
but
$8 on eBay,
well,
so they're pretty affordable.
So yeah,
if they do walk away, it's not the end of the world.
or something like that, or and maybe along with something like that would be if you have problems or if you need assistance, see so and so.
With the assisted listening.
Yeah, so and if you've got 3 people volunteering to hook people up with that, maybe their pictures, so and so, so and so, and so and so. Because if you got somebody new, and you put somebody's name, they won't know who that is.
Right. That's a great idea. Assisted. I just wrote down assisted listening, easy access. So I was thinking about that too. Great, how's the old saying go? Great minds think alike. That was good. I was thinking too that it would be nice that one person didn't always have to chase down a sound person to do that.
Or that more people know where to chase it down. So,
Right.
you know, any of us could observe
I think
if
that would
someone's
be-
having a problem,
Right.
if we took the time to look. And, I mean, I was in the same pew and I didn't realize.
Mm-hmm.
So, but Sharon was sitting right next to him, and so she just could see he was having a problem. And she either knew where to go or went and found out where to go.
Okay.
And so that was a good thing. But-
Excellent.
Yeah, because I wouldn't know where to go.
Yeah. I
And I've
mean,
been going here how long?
and
didn't
I know it would probably be upstairs, but
Who wants to crawl upstairs? Yes, I'm with
it
you
is,
100%.
it is a challenge.
I'm with you 100%. With you 100%. That sounds good. Okay.
Okay, I'm going to change the subject.
Do it, please.
You said that you would love to talk about missions team, so go ahead and talk to us about missions.
So here's the thing with the missions team, okay? Doing missions is not going to necessarily help us minister within ourselves, right? It's not part of outreach, it's not part of any of that. But I keep thinking, wouldn't it be nice to do a little more for our missionaries than just throw money at them every month? I just keep thinking that would be nice. And it really wouldn't be extremely complicated, but it would take just a sit-down discussion with a couple of people who enjoyed missions and would like to be part of just sending out some emails, contacting the missionaries, so that everybody isn't doing the same thing and everybody has a so it would take a little bit of planning. Hence, it probably shouldn't be something that I should do this second, but it might be something that, now we're talking, maybe we could do it together. It's been through my mind, what if we, little by little, found out the birthdays of all of our missionaries' children? And I'll just spit out it's on my mind. You could send, and then you could have, maybe someone would take some month, someone would take another month, and send out birthday emails to the folks. Maybe you could mail it, I'm not sure. Somebody to say thank you for your prayer letter. I am praying for XYZ prayer requests, because missionaries tell me they send out these prayer letters and they hear nothing back and they have no idea if anybody's reading them. And then maybe every 6 months, in an organized fashion, someone could go through and just say, hey, I want you to know that I've been praying for you and Tabernacle Baptist Church loves you and supports you. Something like that. Now express your input. It doesn't help Tabernacle grow, hence why I haven't really worked at it, but I feel like we could do more than
But
what
I
we
mean,
do.
everybody's heard of like Shoebox Christmas, right?
Right, we did that
Do
last
that,
year.
but do that with the missionary children, right? Give them
They would love
a
it.
little shoebox, and I would definitely help with,
Right.
pitch in with that. But I think a lot of people would love to. Well, I'll take that one or that,
Like, wouldn't it be fun to do, like, I don't know, Christmas in July for the missionary kids, or maybe just a Christmas box. Who knows what they get at Christmas time?
Or birthday box.
Or birthday boxes.
Yeah, the birthdays. That's what I said with
Yeah.
birthdays. Yeah,
Birthday box.
Although that could get expensive eventually, but the idea is excellent.
it's good.
Okay, well, if, let's see here, let's go missions. This would be largely something that we would have to have a master plan, because you can't have 4 different people all just kind of going. But it would also be something that, like, we'd have some talks together, but then it would, largely would exit my hands. If you would like to talk further about this individually, who are you? Who would like to talk further? See, Miss J. I know another couple that I believe would be interested in. Well, anybody else? They don't have to be. Anybody else say they'd be interested in that? Okay, excellent. I'll talk further, because I keep thinking about it, but yeah. Okay, others? Yes, friend.
I really hesitate to say this.
Okay. We're having a good time talking together.
Because I'm not ready to be involved in it, but I would like to see a prayer team. When you guys go knocking on doors, there should be somebody praying for you while you're doing it. Mm-hmm. And if have a mission, I mean, the prayer team would be something that interacted with most of these other teams in terms of knowing their needs and holding them up to Christ for the resources, the
Right.
people, the whatever that's necessary. It would be part of your missions,
Right.
of your missions thing. If you, it would be involved with all the different kinds of teams and functions and whatever. You know,
Do you think
but
there would
it's
be
an
a way-
overwhelming thing the way I'm thinking of it.
Do you
so
think
I
there would
can't
be a
even-
way to coordinate that with the Wednesday night prayer team, you think? Or maybe siphon in some specifics?
Or a prayer tree. There's no prayer tree, right? But some people are sensitive about their phone numbers. But a prayer tree is very important.
Right. So we did have a prayer tree in the past. We did have. How do I say it? I'm just going to blurt this out. It's not going to quite come out right, but I'm just going to blurt it out. Churches have to be careful because churches have gotten sued because somebody called and says, pray for my aunt June. She's having surgery this upcoming week. And that and the churches get sued, say, I never gave you permission to say my personal information to 100 people. And it was putting our prayer person in a uncomfortable predicament because we're constantly telling people, I can't say that. No, I can't do those specifics. And the person was very concerned about those things, which is wise, but eventually they pulled the plug and they said, I can't do that anymore.
Exactly, and that's
Which is why we turn off live stream on Wednesday night, because any specifics, and I don't necessarily ask for last names even in person, because I do want to keep some element of privacy and appropriateness for these things.
Like, when you go out door to door, is that usually on Saturday?
So again, that's something we haven't relaunched. I'm visualizing as far as outreach, that's probably a good thing you mentioned it. I'm visualizing as far as outreach that it's going to be a little bit more open-ended. I am finding that I am doing a lot of things on a Saturday. I also have found that the outreach folks who went out and about sometimes felt a little bit disconnected, and it was rolling through my head, because I think a lot, right? I thought, rolled through my head, what if we focused a lot on neighborhoods? Like, what if we just said, hey, this quarter, we're going to work our way through Neil's neighborhood and Mike's neighborhood and the Caskey and Court Lane, that neighborhood there, and then every quarter we do an update, and then maybe I'm open on a Tuesday night and I'd go with Dad Tuesday night. Maybe Neil and I would go on a Thursday night. You just kind of work through it in your timetable. Then every quarter you can kind of see how many doors you knocked and how much area you covered. I was thinking about something along those lines because that was my thought anyway.
Well, before, we had people come in, and if they were like older like me and maybe couldn't do a lot of walking,
That is true, huh?
they would meet in a section and we'd pray for those.
That's
that went-
true.
So we've done that before, but
Now-
where did it go?
Now, is that something that you would...
That's been a long time ago. Yeah.
Now, and I'm trying to be cautious of your time as well, though, right? Because God bless you, but
Yeah,
you're
because
here.
if it isn't just Saturdays, then that wouldn't work if they're different
But
times.
not to
so-
say we couldn't do something along those lines or have a prayer focus, once a month. What's going through my head is I'm just trying to be cautious. Bless your heart, you're here on a Sunday evening. Most of you will be here Wednesday night, and I just want to make sure I don't just keep piling on. For instance, I'm very sensitive to the folks who work Monday through Friday, and then to say, please come out and give all of your Saturday too. And those who do, some work full-time and come out on Saturday, and God bless them. But I would like to have other opportunities of like, hey, I'm going to go out on Tuesday. You want to go out on Tuesday after work? Let me know. We can go. So I feel like that would be a little more stewarding of people's time. Thoughts?
Well, the people on the team that Diane mentioned,
The prayer
They-
team? Or which team?
Yeah.
for you that go out,
Yes.
they could pray from home
Mm-hmm.
if we know when it is. I mean, it's nice to have 2 or 3 together,
Right.
but
Right.
there's a lot of stuff.
Yeah, it's just to me, it's just overwhelming. But it's
No.
but it's something that.
But it's not overwhelming to me.
But it's something that's on my heart. We had the church we used to go to was we just walked through the neighborhood and prayed for houses as we went.
Oh, how fun.
For the people that were in them, you
How
know?
fun.
And so if people have a routine of getting up and walking every morning or whatever, maybe they could walk in a different place and pray while they go. I don't know,
How about this? I think this can work. What if, because again, one of our things we spoke about, let's see, it was last Sunday. We talked about kind of our core values of the church and the way we do and why we philosophically do what we do. Remember, one of them was minimalistic and another one of them was utilitarian. So we're not going to try to just clutter things up. We're also going to try to do what we do to get to the point. What about this? We take our Wednesday night prayer team that does already exist, and anybody who would like to get text updates for just little pray for this, pray for this, pray for this. Not everybody is going to want to have their phone necessarily blow up. But there's no reason why going through our Wednesday night evening we could say, hey, if you would enjoy getting little blurbs of, hey, please pray for this, hey, please pray for this, we could little by little just run through our Wednesday evening prayer team, those who want to get text updates, just have it in our mind that as various things happen, a little blip could come out to the prayer team. Thank you for praying, having a Pensacola over this evening. Hey, thank you for praying, having this event here. And thank you for praying. The outreach or door-to-door is happening now. Would that be a possible way to make it happen without excessive complexity?
You could also maybe make it easier to facilitate rather than having to text a bunch of different people. I know
through the church app.
Our previous church was through Twitter. They had like a Twitter handle that
interesting.
There's like prayer, LBC prayer alert or whatever, and they could get it that way. If you wanted to have it be more private, you could do some kind of like a private Facebook group or that sort of thing. So then people that were interested could subscribe, and they could just get those updates as they. That's
interesting. We do have a church family only Facebook group that could be utilized in that. Although, are you a Facebook person? I don't feel like you're a Facebook person.
The older people don't normally do Facebook. I don't do Facebook.
Don't do Facebook? Now, we do have, when I'm saying texting, we do have a church, I don't want to say a church app, but I do have a way to tag people who want to get text updates, and I can just type on the computer, and it will come to you from 23222. It's not a real phone number. It's from one of those little short codes, which that would be a possibility. Honestly, you can stick them on both the Facebook group and a text, so people could just get them where they want them. That actually might be ideal because a lot of times I'm not going to want my phone to necessarily blow up with every little text all the time, but I might scroll through, maybe.
So this kind of falls under a group of communication.
It's true.
So I mean, you have communication, you have prayer notices would be one topic, and another topic, of course, is like for me, bulletins, right? And that's my next topic I was going to go with. And so, as a general consensus, what are the types of ways that people would like to get like bulletins for Sunday morning church, right? I like a paper copy. But other people,
we're going back to that, absolutely.
Yeah. But other people may like it other ways. So, a general consensus: if you're saying, okay, well, we'll have a paper copy, but do you want it online? Do you want it, blah blah blah? So, what do other people think as far as, because you want to have it in unison, you want to have it cohesive,
Tell me what you think about this. For communication. Master communication. So we have it existing in two places. The church events all exist currently on a public Google Calendar, which you can subscribe to on your phone if you do it on your computer. Also, they are going to have somebody looking right now to find a beautiful church plugin where all of these can live on the website. So website. So the master communication would be in the form of the Google Calendar, would also be on the website, and before you got here, we had a beautiful paper calendar that we would produce every year, and it was beautiful. Stopped during COVID. It was my plan to have one this year, but it just didn't happen, and I decided, you know what, that's not going to make or break Tabernacle, so I'm not worried about it. But indeed, the paper calendar will come back. So in the master scheme of things, the Google Calendar, the website, and the paper calendar should have everything. That would then trickle down to paper invites. Actually, no. Let's do... I know bulletins are considered old school by some. I still think there's, like you say, it's nice to hold it in your hand. Here's what's upcoming at church. And whether it be a paper bulletin, whether it be a quarterly update, so a paper form there, and then you have what we're saying, the handout form, the paper invites. This is just communication in general, because right now, you got to remember what was said Sunday morning, and that's about your best chance of knowing what's happening, right? You got to remember what was said Sunday morning. So it all exists here. It will go down to paper bulletins, paper invites. He was spoke of a digital shareable invite, so a... Right, yep, so those invites in a digital format that can be shared around. And then, yep, so that would be underneath here, right? And then, what do you call it? Vocally announced, I guess? Isn't she amazing? So great. Do you think that would help? If it was more clear where the calendar exists, you know, the Google Calendar, the website, and a paper calendar, which we don't have, but we will have again. And then from there, that'll siphon down to a paper bulletin or, you know, quarterly view, something like that you could hold in your hands, take home. Little cards to invite your friends to. Those same cards, like what's in the lobby, on a digital shareable format, which you can share to Facebook, text to a friend, whatever, and then vocally announce on a Sunday. Do you think that would help us? Communication and understanding what's happening where. And then underneath, what is it? What do we say? I guess, see, I almost think that the prayer team is different than this, really, because yeah, it's very loosely connected, but very, very loosely. It's kind of different, I feel like.
So, are all those things relevant and needed? I don't do Facebook, but is that a common thing for you guys to use?
I would share it on my Facebook feed and like all of my friends. You know, it'd be a way for the people I know to see what's happening here at Tabernacle.
Okay,
You know,
so Facebook is a valid. I don't use it, so I don't know.
Now, currently, actually, Gail does put together a lot of beautiful content, but as the old saying goes, everything rises and falls on leadership, and I'm not giving her much direction or input, and she's doing an amazing job, but I do feel like I've largely abandoned her in that area right now.
There are also integrated services that you could do all of this on one platform, and I don't have any idea what they cost. But like I worked with one as a customer at work, and they were called Subsplash.
I was going to say Subsplash.
Okay, yeah, so you heard of them, but they
you have
do.
To tell me a little more what they do.
I'm not super familiar, but I know they do kind of like.
I don't quite understand what they do.
I think they do all in one, like customized church app, calendar, website, mass messaging, and it all gets integrated into one platform. So you're not having to update across a bunch of different things. You know, it's all just seamless. But I don't know what they cost and what all they do. But I think it's pretty customizable from what I've heard.
We have an inexpensive church app that we use, but I have not very well known how to utilize it. And, you know, I don't just sit down on a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday and try to figure out the church app. You know, there's just a bunch of other things that are pulling at your time. So, but I'd love to show you what we have. I'd love to show you actually what we're actually thinking about moving towards. And I wouldn't be opposed, too, of considering Subsplash, too. I don't know what
Yeah,
it
and I don't
entails.
know them other than I work with them.
Was that a
at work.
business entity that used it?
No, it was just they are a customer of my company, so I work with them through that.
Oh,
Yeah.
Oh,
Their whole
interesting.
platform is hosted on
it's
Amazon
on
Web
Amazon.
Services. Yeah.
Ah, very, very interesting. That makes sense. That makes sense. Yeah, Subsplash is a church suite of tools that is so delightfully deep. It can do anything, but when you can do anything, sometimes that's actually overwhelming because you're like, okay, where do I start with this? But it would do a lot of this stuff all integrated together. So, okay, time flies when you're having fun. Further thoughts, inputs?
I was just thinking about more stuff on the outreach. I was thinking about ways we could kind of market the church in the community. Like,
What do you have thoughts on that?
I was thinking, I know that there's events downtown in downtown Concord, where they have booths and stuff. I don't know if they do farmers markets or what kind of events they do, but maybe there's something where we could get a booth, and promote Tabernacle Baptist and have a sign. I don't know if they do something once a year, or maybe like through some of the youth sports programs. I know sometimes you can buy like an ad in one of their calendars, or like on the field, or just different ways to promote the church in the community.
Right. If you have further thoughts on that, please let me know. Booths, I know you do. You're amazing, Neil. It's wonderful. Ads, I keep thinking about running some ads. I'm curious. I don't know.
Just a thought. Once maybe once we got all the stuff in red dialed.
Right. I'm not gonna lie. I got kind of grumpy, and I was like, man, I'm gonna spend a bunch of Facebook ads and make Facebook richer.
Yeah.
But that might be very valuable. I don't know.
There's also like programs that other churches have done, like Love Works. I know that Lancaster did that. We tried to do it at our previous church, but it wasn't really implemented correctly. I think they kind
Is LoveWorks actually a program, or is that just something that a church does?
I don't know exactly, but I know that Lancaster has done it probably more than once, and you probably have contacts there that you could ask about how it works.
That's a great idea.
I think
Want to give a synopsis of LoveWorks for everybody so they know what you're talking
so
about?
it's kind of designed towards integrating the church more directly with the community through, in essence, kind of like random acts of kindness, but then leveraging that to be an opportunity to invite people to church and to share the gospel. But it's like organized and orchestrated. I wish I had better examples. I think the church that we were at previously tried to do it at one point, but they kind of missed the spirit of it, and were not as, I feel like it's intended to be more of like a giving back to the community type of thing, and then just as a way of opening the door for inviting the church and sharing the gospel. And I think that we didn't focus as much on just the giving back to the community.
It just ended up being another outreach.
It just ended up being another kind of more heavy-handed outreach event, which didn't really, you know what I mean?
I get where you're going.
But I think that Lancaster has implemented it more than 1 year. I don't know if it's an annual thing, more successfully. And I think that they were kind of one of the ones that started it. So.
Great idea. Okay, further thoughts as we wrap it up tonight. Further thoughts. I won't drag it on, but I do want to make sure everyone's got a chance. All right. Well, in closing now, gotta talk about some priority, right? Talk about priority. So, as we mentioned, teenagers, I'm sorry, not teens, 4th through 6th grade is already happening. A good handful of these elements, some on the paper, some on the board, are going to happen just in the nature of reorganizing some of these ministries. Like you mentioned, Jan, no reason why the hospitality team can't come back to life, because that's a very easy, I don't want to say low commitment in a bad way, but it's a very accessible way for people to jump in and help and serve. So things like hospitality team, that will definitely relaunch. A few of the scheduling things, they will relaunch. Outreach, certainly in just the passing out, that will re-begin. I will probably have to lean on your input for things like booths and ads, because I don't know that world very, very well. I can do some more questioning into LoveWorks. Man, it's something we could put on the calendar, like officially for LoveWorks month next year, something along those lines. That's great that it came up now. This is already in process, so if you say, I just don't necessarily know very well what's going on all the time, you're not alone. It is in process, and it will get very much better very, very soon. Miss Janice, I'll check with you and some of the other folks. I'll talk to you just personally about the missions support and love team. Prayer team, I think that, again, I'll coordinate that in and do some further thinking on that. That has a lot of possibility there. New podium will happen eventually. I'm guessing that'll probably happen after the nursery monitoring system. And yeah, see, some of these are really, really easy. Like the assisted listening and easy access is as simple as putting up a table and putting some of those out on a Sunday morning. So the lobby remodel is almost outside of this, since that was already on the calendar as the By Faith offering. So the By Faith offering this year was pre-planned for the lobby update. And I do like to stick with plans, so we'll continue with that. By Faith offering will not happen June 26th. It'll probably happen sometime in July once I officially get a picture for you all to see what the lobby will look like eventually. The drawing was close, but not quite right. And I think that'll be done in stages. The first stage, I'm guessing, will be like new table in the back and new lighting. That would be my guess. And then next year would be flooring and some other things along those lines would be my guess. But yeah, By Faith offering fits a little bit outside of this since it's already been planned. And please talk to me further as far as some of the other details. Again, I'll see if I can't combine this into yet one more format. We'll go back to our normal Sunday evening worship next Sunday evening, but I will do my best to have all of this and this compiled down into one document. I'll do my best to be brief. I may even take off some of the details on this one. So I'll try to make it as bullet points as much as possible with priorities, timelines, what's going to happen sooner, what's going to happen later, what may not happen at all, and we'll work our way through it in that process. Yes, sir.
They used to, I don't know if you ever knew this, but where Ken was talking about where they had the booths down there. Mm-hmm. Well, once a year, I don't know if they still do this, but they have like Christian Day down there.
Do they really?
You just go down there and you can go put, get your booth up there or whatever.
Very interesting. Christian Day. Right? Christian Day, tell me more.
Los Angeles Park, they do that down there once a year. They have a Christian Day down there. All the Christian artists, all the...
I don't know. Let's look it up and see. Yeah, that sounds wonderful. Okay, thanks. I had no idea. I had no idea. They have Corvette Day, so Christian Day makes sense too. So
I don't know if that's called Christian Day. I think it is. I think that's what they call it.
Yeah, that sounds great. I would hope that those who don't know the Lord would see that there's a value to a Christian worldview for society. I always wish that people would see that Christian worldview is always going to help a society. Yeah, don't kill, don't cheat on your spouse, don't lie. It's real good basic stuff, right? Don't kill. What's that?
Don't kill.
Don't kill, Surely that can't be controversial. So. Well, hey, let's close in a word of prayer, and as usual, we can chat as long as the Spirit leads tonight. If you have further thoughts, please let me know. This will be the last one, but all this will get combined back into an updated and shorter version of this. And thank you. This was fun. Last time we did it was 2000, like I said, I think either 2018 or 19. I think it was 2019, early in the year. And it seemed like it was about due for another one now. This is going to be great, and I can't wait to action through it all with you all. Dear Lord, bless this evening. Pray that we have a great night tonight. I thank you for the Tabernacle Baptist Church family. Pray that we have a great rest of the evening and upcoming time of ministry. And I pray humbly, Lord, as a leader, that you would help us all as leaders to remember that we're serving you, Lord, and to not get discouraged by, maybe things don't happen as quick or as smoothly as we might desire. but know that this is the double edge of getting to serve in what is at this point a more medium-sized, not so much a larger size ministry, is that you really get to do a hands-on approach as we serve together. I pray that this wouldn't discourage anybody, but it would be invigorating and exciting to consider going forward, and we have a great time of coordinated ministry, prioritized well, and striving towards the ultimate goals. Ask that in Jesus' name, amen. God bless you all. Have a wonderful, wonderful evening. And again, if you have further thoughts, please come on by and discuss them further. I can't take this to you.